Coming at you live from DNHQ in beautiful South Pasadena, California. This is the Blue Heaven Podcast. Happy Friday, folks. Happy Cinco de Drinko and all that kind of good stuff. You're now home with Dodgers Nation and Jim Beam, so drink responsibly. I do have some Jim in this cup, or maybe it's apple juice. I'm not gonna reveal that. But anyways, my name is Clint. You know, I realized I should start probably saying my last name on here so people can find me and talk crap more often. What better time to do it than at the start of the damn Pirates or whatever they're called, Padres series. I am Clint Pasillas. You can find me as Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram. That guy is Doug McCain at DMac_LA on Twitter and Instagram. Doug, it is a special day here at Dodgers Nation.
It is a special day. Yesterday was May the 4th. Today's Cinco de Mayo, Revenge of the 5th. And it's a great day here to talk Dodger baseball. Things are looking up, coming off back-to-back sweeps, heading into this Padres series that I think is bigger than just a normal series. I'm not going to downplay how important this series is for the division, for the momentum that this team has built recently.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to get a lot into that. I already see people in the comments talking about the rivalry. People aren't ready to consider this a rivalry yet, but rivalry starts somewhere at some point, sometime. Just because it's not as long-lasting as the Giants and Dodgers does not mean it's not a rivalry right now. But we will get into that. Again, happy Cinco de Drinko, guys. This is we have some poll thoughts about the rivalry and all that. Other news and notes going on around the Dodgers. There are some moves happening right now, so we'll all figure that out as the show goes along. But let us know where you're representing Dodgers Nation tonight. Drop into the comments and throw in them zip codes of area codes. Not zip codes, it's too many numbers, but area codes help. And let us know what's going on in your neck of the woods, as they say. But let's find some comments here. Coach Charlie says no. I'm assuming that's about rivalry. Jason Lee in Taiwan, checking in on YouTube, says sweep the Padres. Mike Saldana says 2 out of 3 from the Padres. So we already got some predictions going, which will be a fun thing to end the show on. Viquez, I'm probably saying that wrong, checking in from the 707, says happy Friday, my Dodger homies.
Hey, happy Friday back to you, my man. Yeah, no, I love this. It's definitely a sensitive subject down below.
It really is.
For those that don't want to admit, those that don't want to accept that this is a rivalry. Well, I have this question for you. If they were just playing the Rockies today, would you be feeling the same way? Would you have this much anticipation for a series going up against that team that beat you last year? Come on, let's just be honest. This is definitely the most anticipated matchup in Major League Baseball. But you know what? For the Dodger fans that don't accept it, I still kind of like the fact that it does piss off Padres fans that, please accept us. We want this to be a rivalry. It's like you can't sit at the cool rivalry table. The Dodgers rivalry table, it's the Yankees are sitting here. The Giants are sitting right next to us. The Cardinals are sitting here. The Padres are just like over there, and they don't want to let them sit with us. But we got a lot of people, though, that I think, too, are starting to accept it. This guy says, sweep the Padres from Jason. We got down below says, who's your daddy? That's from B. Guzman. Is that directed towards the Padres? So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see these comments. Mike Saldana says, Dodgers are Padres' daddy. There we go. Yeah. That was actually the title of the clinching episode of the NLDS that I made. I remember back in the day when we were beating them, when we body slammed Diego. But things are different because we got to lick our wounds, right? What happened last year? We got knocked out. So it's going to be a very important series. We got LFG boys from Matt Van Deer. We got folks checking in from the 909. I like this David guy rocking with us, checking in from the barbershop. Got the barbershop emoji. So good stuff. Good stuff. So
you're a big fan of the barbershop, aren't you?
Big fan of the barbershop.
This guy likes his. He likes his bar. You know what?
That's where people debate.
You know what? I'm feeling a little sleepy. I'm gonna put on my Manta mask.
Sleepy? Hey, you know what? Don't sleep on these Dodgers now because Manta masks. They make the world's best sleep masks and sleep accessories. Everything they do is to enable better lives through better sleep. They work relentlessly to improve and optimize sleep so that you can have the energy to live your best life. Check out mantasleep.com today so you can sleep better anywhere, anytime. Get your Manta mask today. Use the code DN2023. Nice little slumber there. Nice little, but we promise you, it stays on better than that. So yeah, go get one of these Manta masks. I'm telling you.
Don't wear it around headphones.
Don't wear it around headphones. Don't wear it when you're driving, preferably.
Did you learn that one?
I did. I learned that one the hard way.
Guys, make sure you use that promo code DN2023, DN2023, and you save some money.
Save some money and get yourself a nice little nap, a nice little.
You still haven't taken this home. I know you want to. I know you want to sleep with it on your face. Because if you want to sleep with it, then people are going to take that out of context. But comes in a box. That lady looks thrilled. So,
I want to sleep. I would be like Tommy Lasorda in the first row. Remember where he's like sleeping?
Tommy Lasorda once said a good
Dodgers
night's
games.
sleep.
Yeah.
I miss Tommy passing
him
out
so
at
much.
the ball game. But all right, let's let's talk rivalry right here. We're talking to you guys. It's the first time the Dodgers are meeting up with the Padres in 2023 that you already talked about. We already know the last time these two met up. We talked to Buster Olney today. It's like I like the way he said it. It's like they got their butts kicked, and now they've put in this work. The Padres have put in this work to want to kick more butt when it matters most. Sure, the Dodgers won in 111 games last year. Sure, they beat them, 14 out of 19 contests. But we learned it does not matter what happens in the regular season, but it's still fun to this is our most amped up that we've been for a series so far. So I'm into that. Let's go to the 2-cam. Let's get Doug in here. The rivalry question keeps popping up, and the same as it was just after the Dodgers were swept. People don't want to admit that it is a rivalry. The most recent poll, over 7,000, 7,600 people, 53.8% people say no, the Dodgers-Padres is not a legitimate rivalry. We have differing opinions on that, or different from that. I think both you and I agree it's a rivalry, but go off on this.
Look, you have to accept the fact that right now, today, the Dodgers versus the Padres is a rivalry. They're not the Joker to our Batman. We know that's the Giants. They're more like the Two-Face, the Scarecrow. They're a guy that kind of pops up that doesn't always come back, right? So right now, with the way this Padres team is assembled, they want to win a World Series. They're constructed to win a World Series. And the reason why I'm confident in saying that it is a rivalry is both these teams have rosters that are assembled to win the same thing. And I've been saying for years that I wasn't going to consider it a real legitimate rivalry until the Padres took something from the Dodgers, until the Dodgers were defeated by them. And last year, what was the conversation before the postseason, Clint? It was, if the Dodgers win the World Series, they're not just the best team for last year, that they would enter the conversation for one of the best baseball teams in the history of the sport. And the Padres, they win a wild card series, and they beat the Dodgers in 4 games. So the Dodgers, they have to get off the mat because they definitely got knocked out last season.
Yeah.
And even if you don't consider a rivalry, you have to realize the importance that this series has. And I can't stress that enough, because you're not playing this team 19 times. You're playing them 13 times with the balanced schedule. Yeah. And in the next 2 weeks, up until May 15th, you will have played 6 of the 13 games against them this season. So we know the run the Dodgers are on right now. We know that they're in first place ahead of the Padres. If you can build a nice cushion, it will go a long way to really just establishing yourself and just taking a stranglehold of this division. So is it a rivalry? It's never going to be the Giants, because that is timeless. It doesn't matter if the Giants and Dodgers are the 2 worst teams. That game is still going to mean something because of the colors, because of the uniforms, because of the history. This is a fringe rivalry. This is like a little summer fling, right? You're not married to this rivalry. To me, it's what the Phoenix Suns and the Lakers were back in the day. The Sacramento Kings and the Lakers were back in the day. Because their roster was good, because they were competing for the same title, it was a rivalry then. But as soon as the Padres fall off, it's not going to be a rivalry anymore. It's going to lose all of its steam. But if you look at historically, there is no comparison between these two franchises, right? When it comes to division titles, I mean, the Padres haven't won a division title since 2006. And I think right now you got to feel good about this. I think it's great for baseball too. I think the energy behind it, the star power, I love it.
I went in on an article. I went in online. This is the best active rivalry in baseball right now. I'm not going to say it is in sports, because I don't watch enough other crap. I don't get paid to watch the football. I don't get paid to watch the basketball. I get paid to watch baseball and the Dodgers, and this is a fun series. Both sides are into it. The Dodgers have tried to play it like it doesn't mean anything. It's another game, and yeah, that's the way you want to treat this series. You want to treat every series. It's one game at a time. Toe the company line. They all love to do that, but I like Max Muncy kind of opened up on it after Wednesday's game. I think it was after this week. Max Muncy opened up about it, and he kind of admitted, they wanted it more. They were hungrier. It showed. They played I mean, yeah, they played better baseball, but they were hungrier to beat the Dodgers. And I think that showed to everybody, even if in the days and weeks after that loss, none of the Dodgers front office, none of the players really wanted to admit that. But now, months later, yeah, the reality is you saw the intensity on the Padres side of things that you didn't see from the Dodgers. And I understand that that's how they are. That's how they play the game. It's very, workman mentality, I guess we'll say. Show up, do your job, go home. But that doesn't always work, and it does not work in the postseason, I would argue, just about ever.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely correct. And also, too, you consider the unique factors behind this rivalry. Geographically, Dodger fans can't go to Padres game unless they're not allowing Dodger fans to buy tickets by blocking their area codes. And then two, the characters on both sides. We saw what happened in 2020, the dust up between Brusdar, Gratterall, blowing a kiss at Manny Machado, and Manny Machado looking over at Brusdar saying, "I'm a wait for you. I'm away for you." And then Max Muncy comes out of the Dodgers dugout. He literally looks at Machado and goes, "Get the F back in your dugout. Get the F back in your dugout." So there clearly is tension with these two teams. And I think those are the big reasons why I consider rivalry. Because, look, let's be honest here. That Giants team, even in 2021, they were boringer. They were more boring than a bag of bricks, right? The Padres team, say what you want, but they're doing the piñata in the clubhouse. They got characters like Fernando Tatis Jr., who only ring he's going to get is a ringworm, but still, there's a lot of tension between these two teams, and I think that's what makes it that much better. You got Juan Soto, who we know Dodger fans, they were after. You got Yu Darvish, who had history on the Dodgers. So a lot of the players are very familiar with each other. The fan bases are familiar with each other's players. And I think, too, that this Padres team, they know that they can kind of get under Dodgers fans' skin.
Oh, yeah.
If they win. After what they have a trump card last year. Of course, Dodger fans can say, okay, we have 7 World Series titles. Like I said, during designated Twitter, the Padres trophy cases emptied in the shelves in the toilet paper aisle during the early days of COVID. But still, it's the here and it's the now. And right now, the Dodgers have to reassert themselves and say, we're going to not only win this division, but we're going to knock you off of the postseason if we meet again.
Another one of the fun factors that we didn't have last year is, hey, Fernando Tatis is back for the Padres. They were able to beat the Dodgers without E6 Nando. They had to go out and sign a shortstop because this guy wasn't that great at shortstop. But that adds to it, too. Now that adds more, I guess, fuel for Dodgers fans because they could throw out, we're hearing them get yelled cheater and ringworm and steroids everywhere. So that's, oh man, coming up to, and I haven't seen whether or not the Padres were doing that, kind of area code fencing thing where fans outside of like local to San Diego couldn't get tickets. But I really hope Dodger fans show out for this series. But if not, Padres come to LA next week, and you get your chance then. But it's a fun series. It's a fun rivalry. It's good for baseball. And I was telling you before the show, back in the day, you remember the intensity that happened when the Diamondbacks were starting to get a little better. You had Puig getting in fights with Ian Kennedy is the name. Ian Kennedy. There was brawls. There was some fight to it. That was a rivalry. It wasn't one of those like you were talking about, the long burning. It's not like what you see with the Giants. Not what you see with the Yankees and the Red Sox. It was, you could have the summer fling rivalry if it continues, if it keeps going, which props, shout out to Peter Seidler, owner of the Padres, for trying to make this window of theirs as open as long as possible. He wants this to stay a rivalry, and at some point they're going to stop caring about the Dodgers the way the Dodgers don't really care about them. They're going to care more about winning. And what Mookie Betts said, you're not really playing. It's not the Dodgers beating the Padres or the Padres beating the Dodgers. You got to beat 30 other teams or 29 other teams if you want to win a World Series. But it's fun right now. You got 6 games in the next 2 weeks, week and a half really. And fans enjoy it. I enjoy it. Baseball enjoys it, needs it.
Fans enjoy it, and I think a lot of Dodger fans, they have this issue because of the title. They're our rival, meaning they're going to be linked with us. But as you point out in designated Twitter, by definition, they are a division rival. That is what a division rival is. Doesn't mean they're on the same level as the Giants. To me, the Dodgers versus the Giants is the Dodgers are PlayStation, the Giants are Xbox. The Padres are like Sega Dreamcast or Sega. They come out with the system. It's hot for a couple years, and then you kind of forget about it. And then 20 years down the line, they kind of come back. You can't count on that each and every year, but I still think that this rivalry right now, it's hot on the streets, man. And Fernando Tatis Jr., say what you want about the guy. He has an electricity to him. He brings a certain element to the game that I think he brings some fire. And also, too, they're 8-4 since Fernando's been back. They've averaged over 5 runs per game. They're averaging over 3 runs per game. So he actually, even though his numbers aren't great, he has had an impact on their offense. And I think, too, this team, this Dodgers team that is so used to just cruising through the regular season, cruising through another division title, you need teams. I remember talking to Dave Roberts during spring training, and I asked him, how important is it to have teams like the San Diego Padres to keep you hungry and motivated throughout the season? And he looked me dead in the eye, and he said, it's very important because you want to play the best. And look, rising tides lift all boats, right? And I think with this Dodgers team, this Padres team, if they push each other all season, it's only going to be to their benefit. So I think, too, and I wanted to touch on your point on Peter Seidler. Look, say what you want about the Padres and them calling the fraud rays, whatever you want to say. What Peter Seidler has done down in San Diego is great for Major League Baseball.
Absolutely.
It proves you don't need to be a Dodgers, a Los Angeles market, or a New York market, or Chicago or Boston to bring in top talent. You can put together a high-priced roster. You can still compete. And the reality is these guys are multi-billionaires. There is no small market team. So teams out there, you want to see this kind of parity. So I kind of love that about what they're doing down in San Diego.
Yeah, they're building a winner. They're building to compete for a long time. They had the false start in 2015. It didn't work out then. Took some time to rebuild. Honestly, that was a sort of stepping stone to getting to where they're at now, because once they got this superstar in Fernando Tatis in exchange for broken down old James Shield, they're like, hey, we have something we could build around. And at the same time, that offseason they signed Manny Machado, who teams wanted him, but you wanted him in a way where it's like, this could really not work out for us. And he's become an honest, like, top leader on that or in baseball. Like, he matured. He became a man, not just some thug. Nah, he was a douchebag back then. But Manny is like,
grew up, man.
He grew up, and he had to grow up, and he realized, like, I'm making all this money. And there was, the fan base wants this. The fan base wanted it desperately to have a winning product out there. You talked about it was almost 20 years, or it is more, or just under 20 years since they last won an NL West title, and then PV gets dogpiled, breaks his rib, and everything goes bad from there. The end of the Hoffman era or whatever. But those were fun teams. That was some fun baseball between the Dodgers and the Padres, and now you have another version of it. Now you saw a little bit a couple years ago, but I like, and we're gonna bounce all around with this because it's this wide-ranging conversation about these two teams. But what I like is this year everything is setting up towards the 3-match in October. The Dodgers got them in 20. The Padres got them in 22. What happens in 23? Well, we're going to find out.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot riding on this series, and I think there's a lot riding on the success or failure of both of these teams. And we're talking about basketball earlier. I think the Dodgers and the Lakers, they're trying to be the Golden State Warriors, and a team that's been around for so many years, but they weren't seen as a flagship franchise. And then they got stars, and they were the talk of California as far as being that preeminent team. But I think baseball-wise, I love the fact that the Dodgers are being pushed by the Padres. And I think this series in particular is going to go a long way into assessing what did this last 6 games mean? What did these back-to-back sweeps, what did that wake-up call against the Pirates mean? Because they're going to be hungry at home. You're going to hear the Beat LA chants. There will probably be a parade inside their city, if they win tonight's game. So I think you need rivalries. You need matchups like this during the season. And as far as this Padres team, can they sustain this success past this year, past this run of players? That's kind of a whole other conversation. But right now, these two teams, the way they match up, I think it's going to be great. And I also love the fact that they lined up that rotation, and this organization told you, both teams, honestly, the Musgrove Blister, you saw they kind of pushed up Darvish, and both these teams know this is going to be a heavyweight title fight, and we'll see who's going to win round 1.
Yeah, and if you don't win round one, you got another opportunity in
round
1 week to get it going again. But I don't know if we should pause to like talk more about Dodgers because things are happening. There's movement happening. I guess we could drop in now. Gavin Stone option to AAA. And my guy, Wander Suero, is a Major League Baseball player. Again, the Dodgers call up right-handed pitcher Wander Suero has been great at AAA so far. I'm kind of surprised it wasn't Justin Brule because you do have Juan Soto, even if it's not the Juan Soto we know. He's still Juan Soto. You have Jake Cronenworth, who always finds a way to get it up playing these Dodgers. And the same with Cop Stash Trent Grisham, which, by the way, bro, no, let's just don't do the stash. But some roster movement happening.
I like that.
Trace Thompson's back.
I just want to congratulate you because you got your guy.
Got my guy. Hey, every year I get my guy. However long it works. Last year we had Jake Lamb. He was around for like 2 weeks, but
yeah, they made you wait for Lamb.
Yeah, they made me wait. I was like toe in the water, I guess we'll say, on Kevin Pillar, bro, and then it didn't really work out. But that should tell you, Wander Suero probably won't work out either. But let's get into some of the comments here, and then we'll kind of bounce into more of the roster stuff. And then I think we should also talk about, even though you did a random impromptu day and a half late post game show by yourself. But I want to talk. I want to talk about. Hey, people love the Doug, and they love.
I want to respond to this one though from Ruben, who says that I sound like I'm a Padres fan now. Come on,
listen. I think the thing is we're trying to teach the folks out here to respect the team. The fan base I don't like. They're getting better at understanding what it's like to be a part of like baseball Twitter or whatever. But they were just very dumb for a while.
And also,
so were Dodger fans, though. And look, Dodger fans were good longer. So, I mean, we're talking about like people that have been in this since like 2013, as were these people were trying to figure it out in 2020. But anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, a superhero is only as good as its villains. Batman wouldn't be what he is without the Joker and guys like that. So you definitely need those villains that can push you. As far as, do I like the Padres? Come on, the Padres brought me to tears last year when they beat us in the NLDS. Of course, I don't like the Padres, but I also do always consider the greater good of Major League Baseball. And yes, I always want matchups. I always want storylines. And I'm always saying that, look, hashtag content. That's the team that I'm rooting for too. So they bring content and they also bring a different angle. Look, there's just a lot of non-storylines in Major League Baseball, a lot of very uninteresting teams. The Padres, whether you like them or whether you hate them, look, you know that for the most part, they are very interesting. But come on, man, no one's trolled the Padres more than me, right? You can't spell Padres without PED, and Mr. Fernando Tat cheats. Okay, I've gone off on the Padres many a night, but that doesn't mean I don't respect that. There's a lot of talent, man. There's a lot of talent on that team.
You gotta appreciate what they're doing as a franchise, and you gotta appreciate what it does. Like nobody was excited when Dodgers went to go play the Pirates. Nobody's really that. I mean, I guess you have a little bit more excitement with the Cardinals because that's also like an OG rival, even though that spice isn't really there. But the spiciness, this is muy caliente, I guess we'll say, with Dodgers Padres right now.
Muy caliente.
It's the best in show, baby. It's the best in show. Let's get some comments here. Sarah Morris says Padres suck, but they are good writing topics. Hey, everybody's getting on this series right now. By the way, they're on ESPN on Sunday. Dodgers first edition of Sunday Night Baseball. Check it out with our good friends of the show, Mr. Carl Ravitch, Mr. Buster Olney, who's joining us this weekend. By the way, he already joined us, but the video's not out yet. And your good friend Eduardo Perez. Oh, he's mine. All of our friends.
Man, I love you, Eduardo Perez. Hanging out with him at the winter meetings. Gave you some good...
Hanging out with him?
Sorry, that's a stretch.
You mean accosting him with your presence?
Begging him for a 5-minute interview. Same thing, right? Same thing.
It's a good time. Mike Saldana says, Padres are our jokers. Alex Renteria says, the Padre fan base is obnoxious. They haven't won anything, but boy, do they love the gloat. Yeah. I would argue they've gotten a little bit better, and they're not all bad, but There was a stretch there where, woof, they were really bad. But I decided I'm gonna make Alex Renteria our Hornitos shot taker of the game, and that's upside down, guys. How do you say it? Plug some Hornitos.
Hornitos.
I didn't mean pronounce it, bro. I mean tell them this is the best tequila in the game.
This
and
is
they
the
should
best
put
tequila
that.
in the game. Hornitos Premium Tequila, the best Hornito in the game. Celebrate Cinco de Mayo with a nice, delicious shot of Hornitos Premium Tequila.
He's
Please
working
drink
on
responsibly.
Working on rolling the R's, but Alex, we appreciate you being our shot taker of the game because that's the most fair take. They haven't won anything, but boy, does the fan base love to gloat or whatever. So go out there, you lose the first game, maybe as a Dodger. The Dodgers lose the first game. It's gonna be a little frustrating, but whatever. Just uninstall Twitter.
Yeah, exactly.
And realize that you can go hang out with your your wife or your girlfriend or your friends. That's where they can't.
They are very front running. I mean, they were the guy. I remember after that win when the guy who kind of looked like Dax Shepard, he did the middle finger to the Dodger fan. Like, has anyone seen that guy since? So yeah, they go Homer Simpson into the hedge once they start losing. But when they're winning, they'll definitely let you know about it. And there'll be parades all around Gaslamp District tonight. But yeah, I mean, I think this series, too, for the fans, when you look at these two fan bases, it's geographical. Like I said, San Francisco, it's not like it's an hour, 2 hours away, right? These teams, it's been a part of the Dodgers fan experience to basically, we've funded Petco Park, okay? I mean, there's been Dodger fans filling the stands at Petco Park for years. Yeah. Only recently did I even know the Padres had fans. So it's...
what we're saying is you're welcome for Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah, there you
and
go.
The 14-year deal for Cheatinando Tatis.
There you go.
We got to throw in some crap. We don't like these people or these players, but it just feels better to have something to get up in arms about. This is where baseball is the most fun. Like
the uniforms, they got the brown uniforms. They look like UPS, but then again, UPS delivers. The Padres don't. So
because they're dookie.
Yeah. So there's a lot of.
I go back to the good old days of like the most recent heightened Dodgers-Giants rivalry, which we really haven't had spice there in a while. I mean, maybe there was
Puig Mad Bum,
there was Puig Mad Bum. There's Puig taking on the entire Giants bench by himself. But even before then, like Gagne, Bonds, that was fun. There was something to that. Some up and that's what I want to see, some balls up at these dudes' faces.
How about Profar versus Kershaw? There you go. There you go.
Make that a quote.
How about Profar versus Kersh when he had the interference? There was a little mix-up there. But I have a question for you, Clint.
Yes, raise your hand.
When you have the Padres fan that tries to think they have that trump card and that we beat you in the NLDS, you guys can't talk anymore, we've slayed the dragon, what should the response from Dodger fans be to that?
Do they have a hat that says World Series champs?
Oh, there you go.
They don't have a hat that says World Series champs? No? Not even any recent ones or even old ones? Are you telling me that, the last time they were in the World Series in, 1997? They didn't win it? 1998? They didn't win it? Come at me when you got a hat.
Wait till you get to 7, right?
Wait till you get just get to 1, and then we can talk in that regard. Look, you can be like, yeah, it's a rivalry now, it's fun, but then you got to start actually backing up the ish.
Yeah, go Windex that empty trophy case, right? I mean, that is what they have right now.
Yuchi, I'm either saying it right or wrong, says they have a World Series appearance hat. That is a great comment right there. Sarah Morris, thank you. Clearing it up, 98. Justin says 1988 was a long time ago, but 2020 was very recent. And I remember Padres fans being all about that 2020 wild card. That was the most important thing they'd ever got in their life, parading the streets and gas lamp. But then it didn't count once they got the boot, thanks to an incredible team that actually showed some fight.
Yeah,
with Brusdar throwing his what would eventually become a World Series championship hat, and robbery from Mr. Cody Bellinger, rest in peace. Great series, and you saw some fits out of. I didn't mean to spit at you, but you saw some fits from.
Right now.
Spit on me, Daddy. Take that one, cut that one, guys. You saw fits out of Manny Machado, and then, you got that kind of feeling from them. And what did they do after that? They sucked in 2021. Yeah, there were some injuries. There was a bunch of injuries for old Nando over there, but they were really bad. Like, they got there and then they just kept stumbling over themselves in 22. They figured it out a little bit, not as good as the Dodgers did with 111 wins, but they figured out that, hey, we know how we can beat them, how we can slay the dragon, and that's be up here the entire time. Crank it. Ours goes to 11 was how the Padres won. And I think the Dodgers finally realized that, reading and hearing what Max Muncy had to say very recently. It's just, yeah, they were hungry or they wanted it. Now, how do you create hunger?
Yeah,
I don't know. Don't eat. I don't know what the hell it is. I know it's funny coming from me, right, guys? But I don't know. How do you manufacture the intensity in the clubhouse? Well, you do it with a different club, a different looking team, which is what this Dodger team is, and that's what we talked about for a couple of weeks after that series. What was one of the first things I said? I want Justin Turner gone. I want a different feel. I want some Latin flavor on the team. They got everything in there. We got Miggy Vargas, your guy. You're running his train. There's not many people in the caboose yet, but eventually they're gonna get there.
Still have seats available.
He's figuring
Get on
it out
before we fill up.
But it's different. You eventually, we don't have JD Martinez at this point. He should be back by the time they're in LA, but it's a different team that the Dodgers have, as were the Padres stacked, the Dodgers reconfigured. And I mean, we're going to learn what it's going to look like, but I kind of like the reconfiguring more than the stocking, because we've seen the Dodgers stock before, and it doesn't always play out.
Yeah, no, I think that's all great stuff. I think that's a point that really has been made enough, is the nucleus of this Dodgers team. When you look at the veterans that they added with Jason Hayward, with even David Peralta, bringing that choo-choo train, having some clutch base hits, getting his bat on the ball in key situations. Also, the influx of the youth movement, a James Outman, a Miguel Vargas, guys that are dynamic on the base pass with speed, guys that are hungry to prove themselves at this level. And then you consider that you got Miguel Rojas, another guy that is a leader in the clubhouse, a guy that everyone respects. So, yeah, I think this team is not going to lay down and take anything from this Padres team. And I think you have Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts. They are the tip of the spear still, but they've reloaded, right? They've come back and they're ready to go another round with this Padres team. And I think this team is better equipped this season as far as, I mean, if you're going to say someone to trade Turner, I mean, he's a great player. He doesn't want the smoke. Justin Turner might talk a little bit. He doesn't want the smoke like that. You're not going to blow this Dodgers team. Guys like Jason Hayward, guys like JD Martinez, guys like Max Muncy. So this team at full strength, Austin Barnes, he'll kill you with his eye contact alone. Just
and by the way, all of those dudes, I mean, yeah, sure, JT is a guy who had been there, who had beat the Padres. Not only that, but also has won a World Series. Sorry, I see some asterisks in there about the 2020, so I'll air quotes for you guys when I say won a World Series. But with Jay, that's a dude who, the Cubs fan base gives that guy a lot of credit for that 2016 World Series, for the rah-rah, which is another thing that we've talked about really for the last couple of years. There isn't that rah-rah guy. There hasn't been that guy in the Dodger clubhouse. It's we lost. Oh, shucks. We'll get him tomorrow, boys. Let's go have a steak. Which, I mean, sure, it sounds like a good time, but I like winning a little bit more than having the steak. Peralta, sure, maybe he hasn't won, but he's got some flair. He's got some pop. He has been to the postseason. Barnes essentially took over as a starting catcher in the 2020 postseason. But you have some guys that have been there, that have done that just they add something to the club that's a little bit different than a pair of Turners and Cody, who completely forgot how to hit a baseball.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, when you consider the roster as a whole and the guys they brought in, the guys that you mentioned, you needed to do something pretty drastic after you lose the way they did. So they did just that. I think the fan base are going to have a lot of fun with it. I like what the commenter said. And like what you said about them not having a World Series winning hat, they actually do have one from that 98 World Series, but it's in some African country somewhere, and that's where it's being worn right now, one of the unused World Series hats. So they do have one, but it's just not official. And I think you bring up the best point that they haven't earned the right to be on the Dodgers level, but that doesn't change the fact that they aren't considered rival. But still, I think when you look at the way these two teams match up this season, I think what I look at, and I think what's going to be ultimately the deciding factor, because I think both of these offenses, if you look at 1 through 4, I look at this Padres offense with Xander Bogaerts, Juan Soto, who really hasn't gotten going and looked like Juan Soto yet. He's starting to pick things up. Manny Machado, who's always going to be consistent, always going to be a threat to go deep and slug.
He's going to get it up against the Dodgers, too.
Pence getting that Kershaw home run pretty much already, right?
I got 2.
You got 2 against him in one game, in one game?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Hopefully that doesn't
I just
happen.
got that bad feeling.
So you look at that
Sorry,
1
boy.
through
Sorry,
4,
gang.
Fernando Tatis Jr. You compare that to the Dodgers 1 through 4, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, Max Muncy, who's playing at an MVP level. I don't think it's that crazy to say early on the season. I think the Dodgers 1 through 4 has been better. Obviously, Tatis has missed some time, but if Will Smith continues to emerge as the best hitting catcher, Max Muncy plays at an MVP level, you essentially have 3 out of 4 of those guys as MVP caliber players, and Will Smith, who's establishing himself as the best hitting catcher in the league. I don't think the Dodgers 1 through 4 is getting enough hype, and that's what I want to see this season. I want to see with the top of these lineups, who performs the best, who's able to get to the other team's starting pitcher, who's able to get to their bullpen. Because the biggest factor, the biggest takeaway from last year's series was the Dodgers' inability to hit their pitchers in the bullpen when they brought gas, when they brought high velocity out of that bullpen. That is when the Dodgers struggled, namely Justin Turner, like you meant, against Suarez, against Roberts. They really had no answer. How are they going to compete with that? And I look, too, at this Dodgers rotation that it's set up nicely. Dustin May, it's a very interesting start. I like the fact he got some additional rest due to Gavin Stone coming up and threw a career-high 104 pitches last game. Julio Urias, you know he's going to want to bring it down in San Diego, put together 2 consecutive quality starts. But how will this kind of much-maligned Dodgers bullpen fare against this lineup down in San Diego? So that, to me, is the matchups I'm looking at for this series. Because I think this bullpen, they're trending in the right direction. Yeah. They've also played in the friendly confines of Dodger Stadium against a Cardinals team, against a Phillies team. It's really the first big test on the road this year.
And they've cut one of their weakest links right now with Alex Vesia down at AAA, who, you know, we hope at some point he could figure it out. But right now he's looking like maybe that NLDS against Padres might have shook him a little more than you would have thought. Same with Yency Almonte, who I think is going to be one of the next guys who's not on this roster. At least for a little bit, because he's looked better at times, but if you can identify an area to eventually plug in a guy like Dan Hudson, or plug in a guy like an Alex Reyes, or plug in a guy like my guy Wander Suero, I look towards Yency right now. But you know, you talked earlier today about with Buster Olney. I'm gonna go that way. With Buster Olney, you talked about the weakness of both of these clubs, and you know, Buster mentioned he's kind of surprised at where the Dodgers pitching staff is at this moment. And I think we all kind of identified the Padres staff, mainly to say the rotation, as good but not great, and the potential weak link of the team at this point. And I mean, yeah, they matched up to get their best guys out there, but let's talk a little bit of roster comparison, my guy.
Yeah, one thing I want to say, too, you mentioned our good friend Buster Olney, is that Buster Olney also said that he heard around the league that there might not be a lot of activity at the trade deadline. Teams like the Dodgers, teams like the Padres, that could use another starting pitcher. They might want to add another bat. They might want to add an impact bullpen piece. Maybe those names aren't going to be out there. So at this point, it might be what you see is what you're going to get. So kind of get used to these roster constructions. And also, it's going to come down to who do you have down on your farm that can come up and make an impact? Who can you have step up? So, yeah.
Padres traded a lot of dudes. Dodgers remain stacked.
Exactly. I think that
we haven't even seen Bobby Miller yet.
And Bobby Miller's looking like, Bob, it's going to be Miller time at some point this season. Man, wipeout, curveball, triple digits on the heater. Yeah, definitely feel like Bobby Miller. After the Gavin Stone start, everyone's like, "Nah, we like Bobby Miller now." You know, like everyone's like, "We're done with Stone. Forget it."
You just moved on.
He didn't throw a perfect game in his first outing.
Roy says Snell can't find the strike zone. He's Vesia 2.0. Justin, our friend Trace Hayward season says, just an old head that doesn't like Mason Wynn throwing 100. Turner, shout out Mason Wynn, and 100-mile-an-hour fastball from shortstop for some reason. But anyways, yeah, I was setting you up to talk about these two pitching staffs and really give you that opportunity to elevate the Dodgers over the Padres in that area, because yeah, everybody has some problems in the rotation right now, but only one team has Clayton Kershaw. As we just minutes ago said, he's probably going to get not rocked, but he's he's straight up not going to have a good time in Petco Park, even though he's owned there throughout his career. I think 1.87 ERA over his career or something like that. 2.03 ERA lifetime, 2.04 ERA lifetime against the Padres in 45 starts. Not a small sample size. This dude owns. You can put him as co-owner with Peter Seidler up there. This dude owns the Padres, but he's that one guy. And you got Julio. Yeah, he bounced back in his last start. He's getting the big start on Sunday. Sunday Night Baseball. Dustin May has done really well against his team in the past, but that was a very different D May. Blake Snell continues to be an enigma for the Padres. Joe Musgrove had a broken toe and then a blister and hasn't played all that much, hasn't pitched all that much, and then Yu Darvish is older.
Yeah, Yu Darvish, you know what you're going to get out of Yu Darvish. You're going to get a guy that's going to go 6 or 7 innings. He also might give up 3 or 4 runs. He's had a lot of success against his Dodgers lineup for years. I remember we asked Chris Taylor in the offseason, who is the one pitcher that's the hardest to hit, and he said he can never get a hit off of Yu Darvish. So a lot of respect for Yu Darvish, but if you look at the rest of this rotation, take Blake Snell, for instance. He's a guy that is almost similar to Dustin May in certain ways, in that they're high variance, in that when they have it, they look like they're a Cy Young Award winner. When he has it going with that slider to righties, I mean, this is a guy that can give you a double-digit strikeout game, but it's always his inability to go deep into games, to keep that pitch count low. And then you look at Joe Musgrove, who I think has improved a lot. I think that last year during the postseason, he had some nice starts, especially against Mr. Shiny Years. Joe Musgrove had a nice start, of course, against the Mets. But if you look at his ERA to start the year, it's almost 11. Blake Snell's is over 5. Yu Darvish has been the best of the bunch. But you look at Clayton Kershaw, he's the one guy out of all these pitchers to start this season that you can say wholeheartedly, this is a top 10 pitcher right now in Major League Baseball. He is elite in every sense of the word. You can't say that about anyone in this Padres rotation to start the year. And then I feel a lot better about Julio Urias getting closer to ace level stats, to the Urias, to ace level status than a Joe Musgrove right now. He's dealt with some things. And then same thing goes with Blake Snell and Dustin May. I think Dustin May, I still need to see more from him. I need to see consecutive outings where he's going out there. He's improved a lot. I think he's really learned how to compete in the game and work himself out of jams. If he doesn't have his best stuff, can you still give the team a chance to win? I think that is the big mark when it comes to a young pitcher. Can you go out there and maybe you don't have the feel for your breaking stuff? Maybe that two-seam fastball isn't inducing as much soft contact, but you're still going into the 5th or 6th inning. He is learning how to do that, but I still like this Dodgers starting rotation better than the Padres starting rotation, especially if you keep Clayton Kershaw healthy. And also, we haven't mentioned Tony Gonsolin. We haven't mentioned the Bobby Miller, Gavin Stone types that can come up. And then we also haven't talked about Noah Syndergaard. And I want to also give you credit, too.
I was avoiding that one.
I want to give you credit, too, because, look, your boy Seth Lugo, you were pushing for the Dodgers to maybe go after him. And instead, they kind of went a different direction. I think Seth Lugo got a pretty nice deal, but he's been definitely solid for them. He hadn't started consistently in quite some time.
Still early in the season for him. He has not been a starter over his career, so you wonder, but he's kind of their best, the most reliable pitcher right now in the rotation. And I don't know if that says more about him as it does about where their starting rotation is. It's a little down, but pitching is kind of bad all around the league right now. So I think I don't know if it's the rules. I'm sure the what am I thinking of? The shift ban is probably playing the biggest role for everybody, but not like a full run difference. Just random thoughts on it. I have no stats to back it up.
I like the anecdotal stuff. Hey,
that is a feel.
The eye test. But yeah, I mean, one thing I want to ask you is, who do you think has a better chance of getting back on track between Noah Syndergaard and Alex Vesia? Because
Syndergaard.
you think Syndergaard really?
Syndergaard.
Wow.
I'm
You're
really
selling all
worried
your
about
Vesia.
Vesia. Yeah,
Vesia's a Vesia.
I don't know if I'm selling the Vesia stock. I'll keep a couple shares, but I'm down on him right now, and I've been down on him really into spring training. He didn't look good from day one. In his last outing at Dodger Stadium, I don't know if you happen to see it. They're getting real creepy close on the zoom in, almost like you guys are right now, getting real creepy close on the zoom in. And as he's setting up, like you just kind of see him like looking at the clock a lot. I think I feel it in my bones, and my bones hurt, but I feel it that dude is struggling with that pitch clock, and it changed his game. It's taken him out of being that dog that he's been for the last almost 2 years.
Yeah, and honestly, I'll take the blame from that. I remember at Dodgers Fan Fest.
You asked him about 9 times in the offseason about that pitch clock.
I think he was literally freaked out when I said, hey, Alex Vesia, last year it took you 24.8 seconds in between pitches. You were 8th in the league. Is that going to be an adjustment? He took a deep breath. He goes, it really is. And he didn't. A lot of players would have shot away. Oh, we'll be fine, this and that, but not Alex Vesia. But I will say I'm going to stick up for Vesia in the sense that this does feel similar to what we've seen from him in years past, where he has had struggles early on. Last year, he had a 4.15 ERA in May, a 4.22 ERA in June. Then after the All-Star break, had a 3.14 ERA with 37 punch-outs in 28 2/3 innings, had 15 walks. So was much better down the stretch, whereas Noah Syndergaard, look, I wanted to draft him for my fantasy team so I could be called the Syndergaardians of the Galaxy. But if you look at his numbers, a 6.32 ERA, that's 80 for pitchers with a minimum of 30 innings pitched. That's 84 out of 90. A 15.2 strikeout rate, that's 85 out of 90. His opponent's batting average is the 5th highest at 305. His walk rate, the positive is the walk rate at 2.9%. That's 4th. But still, if you look at those numbers, what was the big conversation with Noah Syndergaard heading into the season? He told reporters, I think I can throw 99. I think I can get I can throw 100. If you look at it, it's actually worse this year. He's averaging 92.4 miles per hour on his 4-seam, 91.9 on his 2-seam.
K percentage is down.
He just doesn't look like that guy in negative WAR. But I do love the fact that I love the fact that they identified early on that we're not just going to keep throwing him out there and expect different results. We are going to manipulate the schedule a little bit. We're going to reset this rotation. We're going to keep him away from that Padres lineup and hopefully make some mechanical adjustments. I think the big adjustment that stood out for me in his last start was the use of that curveball, so you can get that differential between his 2-seam fastball, between some breaking stuff. So, yeah, I don't think he's a lost cause completely, but I will say it's not looking great right now. Do you think he ends the year on the Dodgers?
That one I don't know yet.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of basing. You asked me both. You asked me which one I think has a better chance. I'm basing it on what they can provide to this team, or what if they can provide what they're supposed to provide. The Dodgers didn't sign Noah Syndergaard to be an ace. They signed him to be a number 4 dude and pick up some innings. I think that he can still do that job. Vesia was the guy who was pitching in some 9th innings. He was pitching in just about every 8th inning. He was getting the biggest outs of the game. I don't know if he's getting that opportunity again. I think he's been now leapfrogged very quickly by Victor Gonzalez. Flaco Gonzalez looking good, coming out, throwing 97. The slider there, or sweeper, whatever the kids want to call it these days. He's looking real good. He's looking like, he has the confidence again that he lost at one point in 2021. Now he's back. I had to throw it in there a little bit.
No,
but
the V-Gon is the V-Goat again.
And you can't, I think one of the most underrated arms in the bullpen is Caleb Ferguson, who's going to be gone very soon because they're having a kid. So congrats to Caleb and Carissa Ferguson. So another baby, another stroller from those fine people who dumped off a bunch of strollers at Dodger Stadium.
Sign Nick Cannon to be the new Dodgers shortstop with all the kids they're having.
But anyways, you were gonna.
I was just gonna say
words.
I'm very, very bullish on Victor Gonzalez this year. He is the real deal. If you look at all of his numbers, 35% strikeout rate, a 5% walk rate, the FIPS at 195, and also I think he got his confidence back. And that's what he did have in 2021.
How Victor got his groove back.
Make
it a show.
And he was in the Get Warm camp last year. There was a chance we were going to see him there in the NLCS had the Dodgers advance. So, look, competition is great. It's nice that the Dodgers do have some other options. And also, too, Justin Brule is another lefty that looks solid. We've got Victor Gonzalez. I think, like you mentioned, Caleb Ferguson is a guy forcing fastball up in the zone, working that curveball you can trust. So Alex Vesia, unless he really gets it together, where he had a rough outing in his first appearance down in the minor leagues, so it's going to take a lot for him to kind of get back, but still, we've seen it in the past. Syndergaard, I think, it's going to be a work in progress, but also know the Dodgers aren't going to sign anyone for $13 million unless they exhaust every avenue of trying to fix it, because they want to preserve that reputation around the league that the Dodgers is the place that you come to revitalize your career, and they'll get you back on track, because that's how you get those one-year deals.
You just put up the Shelby Miller posters instead of the Noah Syndergaard posters, and you're good there. Some love in the stream for Victor, by the way. Eddie and Tricia Bisbee on Facebook say Victor is a beast. I had another one here. Actually, I guess there's more people trying to give some love to Vesia. Diane Schroeder says Vesia is really affected by the pitch clock. Hopefully he can work it out. Somebody questioning FG saying Vesia a stud. When are we going to see it? Next 2 months? 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, again, I hope he finds his way back. Manny Man 5 Dodge says, have these guys ever heard of Trojan? Because the wiener stuff.
Yeah.
The babies.
Hey.
Ayo. Matty Man also asked, do we want JD back in the lineup? Another thing the Dodgers don't have this week is their DH. They are tonight with Kershaw on the mound. I kind of prefer this because David Peralta rakes against Yu Darvish. Like I think it's a 417 career batting average, 3 bombs off him. But he's not their best defender in left field. That's going to be James Outman in this case, and you have your best center fielder, in my opinion, that you can get out there. Well, the best center fielder they probably have is Mookie Betts, but your second best is going to be 5-time Gold Glove Award winner Jason Hayward, who's a guy I argued with before we assumed or learned that Outman would actually have a chance of making this roster. I assumed there was a chance that Hayward would get that starting center field job, not to take over, but just would be in there on opening day. But you don't have J.D. Martinez, but you do have the best possible defense you can get on the field tonight for Kershaw with Miguel Rojas, who loves to barehand balls, according to what he said yesterday or on Wednesday after the game. But defense wins championships. This is the best they got, and at some point you're going to get J.D. back in there, and when he went down, he was the third best producing Dodger in the roster in the lineup. There's nothing there for you to work with, but I'm going to go ahead and let you talk now.
No, I think David Peralta, hopefully he has a big series. He's going to be in there at DH.
Yeah.
And then really that's going to be the big key to the series is I'm looking at numbers 5 through 9 in the lineup. Who produces? Because Jason Hayward, he's been tearing the cover off the ball this season. Anytime he's gotten his bat on the ball, good things really have happened of late. In the beginning of the season, he was getting the results. Now he is. And then James Outman, does he continue to produce? He's batting in the 6th hole tonight. Miguel Vargas is my favorite player of all time. It's my all-time favorite player. He's my GOAT. Just kidding. If you guys watch the show, you guys have known that I've definitely been a big. I've always I'm still sticking to my theory that of all these rookies, he's gonna have the longest career. Because I think that bat to ball, that's going to translate for years to come. And you're also seeing the extra bases pick up. You saw him have a 3 doubles game. You see him start to leave the yard with some home runs. And he's more aggressive at the plate. Yeah. He's swinging at pitches earlier in counts. The bat speed has picked up. He hasn't been as tentative. And also, I don't know. Maybe someone who's dealing with an injury during spring that literally had to go in the box and watch balls and watch and not even be able to swing at pitches. Hey, you're going to suffer. He needed more at-bats during spring training and early on. They just kind of threw him out there. So I look for him to have success. I look for him to kind of build on the momentum that he's had. So yeah, I definitely like this lineup. As far as the DH, getting J.D. Martinez back is what's going to take this lineup to the next level, is getting all these guys to produce. I mean, even Austin Barnes at this point is coming through with clutch singles. You saw him set up the win the other day. You saw him get that big hit. So, yeah, I like what this team's doing. Also, I want to see this team continue to take advantage of stolen bases. Last 2 weeks, last 13 games, 18 stolen bases for the Dodgers. That's second behind the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pirates have 23. So ever since that Pirates series where they stole 12 bases and they had more stolen bases in that series than the Dodgers had all year. They said, no, we are going to take advantage of this. Hey, if we're going to give stolen bases, we might as well now. And you saw in the walk-off, what happened? Chris Taylor gets a single. He steals second, puts himself in scoring position, and that really gets the rally going. So we're starting to see them utilize that. And like I said, even Freddie Freeman's looking like Ricky Henderson out there on the base pass, so might as well take advantage of the pizza boxes. So, look, the Padres, they haven't seen this version of the Dodgers.
No.
They're used to the slug Dodgers. Let's go. Let's hit the long ball. Let's hit the gaps. Let's win with slug. I'm very interested to see this more dynamic Dodgers lineup if they continue this. I don't want to see them regress to the old habits where we're seeing Blake Snell and we're saying, oh, the Dodgers are over that last 12, and Blake Snell he's retired 10 in a row. No, look, if they're having trouble getting up to velocity and they're going down swinging, I want to see them shorten up their stroke, go to more of a two-strike approach, and just manufacture some offense just to kind of spark things. And that's why I do like the influx of young talent and guys like David Peralta, who I hope has a much better series. So, yeah, I think this is going to be a big series in how we evaluate the progress that this offense has made.
We're getting what we wanted at the end or after the Dodgers were booted from the NLDS last year. A different-looking club. I'm getting what I wanted, for sure. A different-looking club, because what they've been running out there for the last 5, 6, 7 years, outside of 20, it stopped working. And you know, 20, some people want to put some sort of, not asterisk, but they want to highlight it in its own way, and that's fair. The Dodgers were going to make it to the postseason either way. I'm not going to get down that rabbit hole. Dodgers won a World Series in 20. But in 19, it felt like 22. And 21, there was a team that was broken and hurting. But it was a lot of the same guys. And now you have a different feeling club. You have some kids that probably are hungry. I saw one of the comments earlier. It said kids are hungry. So for just 10 cents a day, he could feed Miguel Vargas some fastballs down the middle that hopefully he can crank out into that Western Still whatever it is out there in left field at Petco Park. But I'm very, very intrigued to learn what this roster, what this team can do against the Padres, because this is not a rematch in some sort of altered reality. It's not a rematch of 2022. It is two new teams, or not two new teams. The Padres there's some changes, but it's going to be a lot of the same faces going out there when we see them over the next 3 days and 6 of the next 10 or whatever it is. But the Dodgers are a different looking team. So all that in mind, do some predictions, guys. We want your guys' predictions in the comments. What do we think this series looks like? I don't even remember what the hell. I think I said 4-2 again to start the week on Monday. I don't remember, but I hope I'm wrong. I very much hope I'm wrong. I'm hoping I got a white pill 6-0 in me. But
you might have said 5-1. I don't know. I'll go look back. You know, I think
do it right now. No.
Okay, yeah.
So drop your predictions. What do you think's gonna happen in this series? You are gonna lead us off, comrade.
I want to break out the broomsticks. I like the pitching, the way it lines up. Manny Machado took 10 weeks off to get ready for this series.
Bruh.
I'm going to go, let's go Dodgers 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 for LA.
Which game do they lose? You got Dustin May, don't you? It's going to be Kershaw.
I want to say
it's going to be the Kershaw game. It's going to be tonight, and it's going to suck.
The Dodgers win. It'd be 9 in a row for LA. I think it'll be the Saturday. You know, let's go Dodgers sweep. I changed my pick. Dodgers sweep.
Is that peer pressure? Is that how that works?
This offense is rolling right now. I mean, we got people in the comments that want me to call for a sweep. We got more people talking about condoms in the comments. Hey, no glove, no love. I mean, stop with that, guys. We got people talking about Cinco de Mayo.
Jimmy's in left field tonight.
Some guys fantasy league. So I'll go sweep for LA.
All right. What about around the office? What do you got? DJ producer Noel trying his best. Yeah, good.
Hey,
what do you got?
I'm going to rock with Dodgers dropping the first one.
All
and
right,
win the next
so you got 2-1.
2-1.
Kershaw game. What do you got, buddy?
Yeah.
We got a sweep. Ooh, double sweep. New guy. Sweep. Wow.
Sweep Diego Love.
I can't see the other one, so I'm not gonna try with him. You know what? I'm gonna go because I think I've already thrown out. It's gonna be a 2-1. Dodgers are gonna lose one. I think they're gonna lose game 1. But I think Julio's going to own, and I think Dustin May is going to have his best game of the season.
Ooh, I like that.
And I think it's going to be a
Spicy.
tight one tonight. So
That's spicy. I think Kershaw's locked. I think we're going 8 punchies from Kersh today. I think
it's
the
a
offense.
new month. He's coming off pitcher of the month. I think it's just all those little things that set up for him not pitching well against Manny Machado. Or more so, Manny Machado hits very well against Kershaw, and I'm a little worried about that. But Kershaw loves giving up his home runs, and that's something that concerns me.
Yeah,
I very much hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
You.
No, the one that scares me is the Saturday matchup. I think Dustin May, they clearly have identified they wanted some extra time off for him to kind of get right, and just not really get right, just kind of reset, give him some extra time. But the walks, he had 4 walks in 5 innings against the Cardinals in his last start. He had 3 walks in 5 1/3. So if you can command the baseball and control the zone, I'm going to feel really good about that start. And I think Julio Urias, who's running the stairs at Dodger Stadium, I saw him running the stairs up and down the stadium trying to get
He's
right,
like, heard
get
me
fit.
call him Gordito.
The Clint cure works in mysterious
Well,
ways.
yeah.
That's what they say.
He's like,
That's what they say.
That fat dude's talking shit.
You're wild now.
You know about
Okay,
that cheese man.
Let's check out some of these comments here. We got Padres drool from DKM. Sarah Moore says 2-1. BC. Okay, that's a little sidebar. You said Mike Saldana says you said 5-1. Wow. Shout out to the fans, by the way.
Appreciate you
Remembering
guys.
the picks. DKM is going for the sweep 3-0. Diane Schroeder, the fairy godmother of the Blue Heaven podcast, and here at Dodgers Nation says Dodgers take 2 out of 3 from the Padres. I like when they call them the Pobres, by the way.
Pobres.
That's one of my
better.
favorite ones.
I'm not a fan of the whole Madres thing.
I like the
just
Pobres.
Do better, guys.
Yeah.
Chico. By the way, that fool Chico Dopeness says 2 and 3, 2 of 3. So Dodgers, another person on that 2 and 3 train. Appreciate that.
2 and 3 sensible. We got
Robert's got a sweep. Juice Nero says sweep Diego.
Sweep Diego Love.
Carnivorous Lunar Activity says hello, new guy. So that's a new guy over there.
Shout out to new guy making his
official
designated
name.
Twitter debut.
Joe Mama, did you get Joe Mama?
I
Joe
didn't get Joe
Mama
Mama's
said
yet.
3-0.
3-0. Okay, getting the sweet vibes. Roy Estrada always brings a very nice take. He says first series 2 out of 3, second series 2 out of 3. I could totally see that. And that's the most sensible pick, taking 2 out of 3. You just don't want to lose the series, especially considering you're only playing this team 13 games. It almost feels like getting 2 wins when you win 1 against these guys. Mike Saldana, I like anytime I get a specific detailed type one, I love to read that. Mike Saldana says Kersh goes 6 with 2 earned runs. That sounds about right. I got him going. Let's have him going 6. Let's have him going 6 and giving up.
Ozzy here. What do you got? Finish it. Finish
2
your
runs.
thoughts. 2 runs. All right. Ozzy
Put
here
7 punchies.
on Facebook says Kershaw 7 innings, 8 Ks, 1 earned run. I'll take that every single day of the year.
Trying to manage him. Remember Doc after the last start. Trying to manage him for later in the year.
Clayton Lockhart says Dodgers break out the brooms for 3rd sweep in a row. Go Dodgers. Where I saw another one here. Alexander says, imagine if Kershaw wins another Cy Young this year. Well, I can imagine it.
I talked about on the last show. He'd be just the 5th pitcher in baseball history to have 3 more Cy Youngs.
Trace Hayward
Steve
season
Carlson.
says hashtag get Clint the yeesh back tattoo.
Hey, that's happening, right?
'Cause I threw that. I mean,
Yeesh.
seems like a good win.
We got to get that in writing, though. We got to get that in writing.
It's on Twitter. I'm not like you. I'm not going to delete my tweets. Damn. That's a lie. I delete my tweets.
Even if you
every
delete
once
them,
in a
people will screenshot. I'll get it, man. If the Dodgers win the World Series this year, man, I think I'll get a tattoo too, man. Not like a permanent one of those temporary tattoos, but I'll get a temporary LA face
You know about
tattoo.
cop out McCain.
I'll get an LA face tattoo, bro. But I'll reapply for like 3 months though.
All right, that's fair.
Okay,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's on record. Okay,
on
we on
record.
wax. Okay, awesome.
Alexander says, when are you going live next, D-Mac? When's the next post-game show?
Man, you never know, man. Maybe even tonight, bro. No, but no, not tonight.
What was this character?
I have no idea what.
Where did it become like
We'll be locked and loaded this weekend for sure.
Sunday?
Sunday, Saturday, if it's popping off, I'm leaning towards going live Saturday. I'm getting I'm not whatever's in between the postseason, the regular season. This is where
3
that's at.
post-game shows coming at you
I
live,
can't tonight.
promised from Doug. And if he
can't
doesn't, he's giving everybody $15,000 each.
Tonight. No, again tonight, but yeah, no, it's gonna be a big series.
What, you got something better to do tonight?
No, not really. But
Wow, that sounds like it's gonna get him in.
I gotta watch my
He's
Buster.
trouble.
I gotta watch my Buster Olney interview 7 times.
Yeah, that's right. He's got to work. We
got Buster Olney interview coming tomorrow. He's got thoughts on Shohei Ohtani, on the White Sox, and the possibility of them being sellers. You're not going to want to miss that. I'm going to drop that tomorrow morning over on the YouTube channel. Also, look for Designated Twitter. Got some fire takes from Clint and the gang here, so be on the lookout for that. We got carnivorous lunar activity. DMAC is all Dougie fresh tonight. I don't know what that means. Alexander Z says, let's go. BC, Doug, you don't plan shows in advance? Yeah, I basically cop out McCain. I plan all the shows in advance for sure. I mean, we're trying to go at least 3 days a week, at 3 games a week. But, I mean, I've actually been doing 4 games a week to start the year. So
even when there's not a game happening.
Yeah, I got bored yesterday. Did a little.
Hey. The man of the fan, the hardest working dude in show business right here for sure.
For Alex, the DMAC postgame shows after loss are hysterical.
Oh, man.
He roasts everyone and anyone.
If they lose the Sunday game, the national game, that's going to be rough. So they just won't.
Yeah.
Julio's got this.
No, BC wants me to go every game. I'll pick it up, man. We'll try to do tons and tons more games for sure.
We're gonna need a real expensive Patreon to get you to go every game.
Yeah, you know,
my boy's got to live a little bit.
Sponsors are here, man, for sure. I don't know. Hashtag Trojan More. Come on, man. No glove, no love.
Anyways, I guess that's about it, gang. Hope you enjoyed just a random piece together show to talk about your boys in blue and the Padres. Because every once in a while, you just got to riff. You know, you got to talk about the rivalry that is, and remind you to very much enjoy it. Don't forget, use our promo code DN2023 at MantaMask. Don't forget, we still have an active promo code over at MyBookie. So use that promo code, Dodgers Nation. We have a giveaway going on, and we're picking the winner on Sunday, and we're announcing it on Monday on this show. So DodgersNation.com/giveaways, and you can win a $50 promo card, or a promo gift code, I guess is really what it is. It gives cards away. Idiots do. Anyways, we have that going on, so you can get some stuff over at gearup.la, which is a website that gives stuff away through money and services. Find us on the internet, DodgersNation.com. Subscribe to Blue Heaven on iTunes, Spotify, all the parts that do podcasts in your ear holes. We live there. YouTube.com/DodgersNationTV. Hit the bell, leave a like. We are Dodgers Nation on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok. That is DMAC_LA. I am Real FRG, and we will see you on Monday. Peace.